Hello, everyone. Welcome to this presentation in the ICAA webinar series brought to you by the International Council on Active Aging. And today we're featuring Showroom, and that's a special type of presentation enabling you to learn from the companies that produce them about new products and services that are of interest to you in your work and to the older adults that you serve. So today we have a nice group of 3 organizations: CyberCycle, Greenfields Outdoor Fitness, and then HealthComms, the MyHomeReach, and I'm really excited to hear about all of them. Now, of course, a few housekeeping terms. This webinar is being recorded, and after the presentation, you will receive a link to the recording that will be active for a few days, and then it will be placed on the ICAA website so that you can access it at any time. There was a handout that was attached to the reminder email that you received yesterday with the login for this presentation. If you registered in the last 24 hours, it's also attached to your confirmation email. So you may want to go ahead and download that handout and follow along with the presenters. In the lower left-hand corner of your screen, there's a chat box. That's where you'll be able to put in your questions as each presenter speaks. Go ahead, put your questions and comments into that chat box, and each presenter will answer as many as possible after their formal presentation. Not to worry, if we don't have time to answer all the questions that come in, everyone will answer them via email or by phone call after the webinar, so you'll still get the answers to your questions. Finally, on your screen, there's a number to call and an email if you have any technical difficulties with this webinar. Go ahead, it's our customer care line, contact them, and they'll be happy to take care of you. Well, that's all the housekeeping details, so let's get this show on the road. First up, Megan Conway is going to tell us about CyberCycle. Welcome, Megan.
Thank you, Pat. It's a pleasure to be here today. Before I begin my presentation, I wanted to briefly introduce myself. I previously was a wellness director for a number of years at a CCRC or lifetime community, and we were one of the first communities to pilot test the CyberCycle. So I have experience working with older adults, and I'm very passionate about senior wellness as well as the CyberCycle program. Next, I want to bring some alarming statistics about Alzheimer's to your attention. Today, more than 5 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is more deadly than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined, and it is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. 1 in 3 seniors die of Alzheimer's or another dementia. This year, the cost of caring for Alzheimer's and other dementia in the U.S. is estimated at $236 billion, and by 2050, these costs could rise to more than $1 trillion. These stats are very frightening and just show how serious this disease is. 2 most common fears in older adults is the fear of falling and the fear of losing your mind. The CyberCycle can help fight Alzheimer's as well as those common fears. So today I'm going to go over our mission as a company, the cognitive research behind the CyberCycle, the benefits that it can offer for older adults and senior living communities, as well as key features and the programs that we offer. The CyberCycle provides a fun, engaging, and social activity to help enhance the wellness programs at senior living communities. Our mission is to help seniors stay independent longer and experience a higher quality of life through having fun. Now I want to share a brief video from the researchers about the cognitive research study that I think you'll find very informative. It's just under 2 minutes long, so make sure that your sound is on so you're able to hear the video.
Exercise is good for us, but does it matter what our minds are doing while we exercise? A new study published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine suggests that keeping your mind actively engaged while working out may add to the benefits of exercise by slowing dementia. The study involved 63 senior citizens, ranging from 58 to 99 years of age, who averaged 3 bike rides per week for 3 months. Half of the study group rode recumbent stationary bikes, while the other half rode CyberCycles, specially designed bikes equipped with virtual reality screens. CyberCycle riders experienced virtual tours through places like Paris, California, and outer space.
I found it very interesting to talk to a number of the participants in the study who would tell me how interested they were in following what was happening on the screen, that they would pay attention to the other racers, they would try to beat them.
Hanley and her team found that CyberCycle riders had significantly better executive function, which affects multitasking and decision-making, than those that rode a traditional stationary bike.
So our findings were really compelling. What we showed in our study after 3 months, the group of senior independent living individuals that were riding the CyberCycle had significant improvement in their cognitive health compared to the group that was riding the standardized bicycle.
Cybercyclists experienced a 23% reduction in progression to mild cognitive impairment compared to the traditional exercisers. No difference in exercise frequency, intensity, or duration was found between the two groups, indicating that factors other than effort and fitness were responsible for the cognitive increases.
We also had a number of participants who really reported that their thinking was getting clearer, that they felt they were a little sharper cognitively, which is really what we were most interested in and excited to find.
So as you heard, the video results were very compelling. The interactive riders saw a 23% reduction in progression to mild cognitive impairment or Alzheimer's and dementia, and that showed that the CyberCycle slows mental decline dramatically. They also did a blood test that showed that the interactive group had significantly higher levels of BDNF in their blood. BDNF stands for brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and it's the chemical that's directly linked to the creation of new connections in the brain. This research study was published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine, and as of today, the CyberCycle is the only exercise ever shown to significantly increase BDNF levels in the blood. The study was awarded top honors by the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation and voted the third most influential study of the year. It was such a success, they received further grant money to continue to do research. So we're very excited that they're continuing to use the CyberCycle with older adults in their research. The benefits the CyberCycle can offer to seniors and senior living communities, as the results of the study proved that it will increase cognitive health. The more obvious, increased physical health. It will provide a cardiovascular and muscle strengthening exercise as well as helping to burn calories. Rider engagement, the CyberCycle is really great through the interactive rides and online challenges to keep riders engaged and wanting to come back for more. Improve occupancy rates and reduce resident costs. The CyberCycle helps to keep residents independent longer. And as I stated in the beginning, those stats of how much, we're in the billions of just caring for those with Alzheimer's and dementia, just in the U.S. So it's definitely going to help, keep those residents to delay them from getting to those stages. A turnkey wellness program. So the CyberCycle gets connected online to make it easy to track data. And the CyberCycle team provides the wellness directors with promotional materials for all the challenges that go on, all the programming, and it makes it really easy for them to encourage their riders to ride because they don't have to do a lot of that administrative work. Ongoing support from the CyberCycle team. We're a very hands-on company, so we want you to get the most use out of your CyberCycle just as much as you do. And the most important benefit is that the residents will have fun. Key engagement features, there's over 40 different courses and 9 different games to choose from. As you're pedaling, you're steering through, navigating through the different courses. You're shifting as you go uphill and downhill throughout the courses. The national leaderboards represents the monthly totals for all the communities with the CyberCycles around the world. So you can go on there and you can compare your community to other communities for that month, as well as compare individual riders to other individuals in that same age and gender bracket. National and custom challenges. So we host about 4 national challenges a year where we invite all CyberCycle users to participate. We also help wellness directors create custom challenges, whether it's an in-house challenge, you want to compete against another local senior living community or a sister community, or really any community around the world that's close to you on the national leaderboard each month and you want to really bring a challenge about. It's senior-friendly software, so it's going to be very easy for them to use. Once they get a rider ID, it's very independently used. They just log in and go ahead and start riding. As well as our website is very intuitive. They can actually sign on from a tablet, a smartphone, or their home computer and constantly check their ride history. Pacers and ghosts, there are features that are on the rides as you're going through. A pacer represents, it's just like a pacer in a real cyclist race. It kind of sets the tone of the ride. You can speed the pacer up to challenge yourself or slow it down to catch up to it. The ghost feature is my personal favorite. It looks like a real ghost on a ghost bike. And what it represents is your previously best timed ride on that specific course. So it's very self-motivating, and you can challenge yourself by trying to beat your time. And it's a really good way to really recognize how strong you're getting as you ride. If you're constantly beating your ghost on different rides, that's just showing that, you know, riding the CyberCycle is helping get you stronger. Key administrative features, so EV resident setup, it takes about 20 seconds to register a rider. The complete activity history for all riders. I'm going to use my highlighter here on this picture here. This is what the bike manager, so all wellness directors have access to a bike manager. And you can see this is activity from Friday, July 8th, and these are all the residents that rode on that day. You can see the tour, the time, the miles, their heart rate. You can actually click on an individual rider and you can see it in calendar format, what they rode for the month, how many days of the week they rode, and so forth. Extensive analytics. So here's the second picture down here. This is under our analytics tab. You can get charts on, you know, calories, the miles, how many riders since day one of the bike being installed and connected online. You can track all the analytics and data from your users. Easy setup with challenges. So like I said, we're going to help you with challenge, help you with the custom challenges, send you promotional materials, and you can follow the results live right through our website. Each challenge has their own little link, and you can click on it, and as riders ride, as soon as they're on that ride, it instantly gets calculated and updated on the website. A heart rate monitor and warning. So when you register a rider, you have an option to put in their max heart rate. Max heart rate, if they reach their max heart rate during a ride, a display will come up on the screen saying, you know, warning, you're going too slow down, you're going too fast, you know, your heart rate's too high. So it's a really great way to monitor their heart rate. The next slide is a picture. So this picture here, the CyberCycle League, this represents the national leaderboard, and you can access it. Anyone can access this right now. It's cybercycle.bike is our website. And there's tabs up here. If you click on the league tab, it's going to bring you here. And what it is live updates for the current month. So you can see the communities, where they're located, how many miles. You can also click on riders so you can see the top riders. And a really cool feature is, for example, let's just say you're a female in your 80s. You can actually click on the riders and customize, filter out under the options section, so you're only seeing other females in their 80s, so you're comparing those in your same age and gender range. Over to the right here are just some examples of our promotional material for our national challenges, previous challenges and upcoming challenges. So this is our March Madness challenge here, the bracket style event. This is our most recent, the Tropicalorie ride, the 1 week long calorie count ride. And then our upcoming CyberCycle Games is an Olympic-style event. It's going to happen towards the end of the summer. So you can find all the promo materials and all the information on our website as well underneath the Challenges tab right here. So I wanted to conclude this presentation by sharing some real success stories from our programming. The first story that is about our March Madness. This was one of our most successful challenges yet, and we're definitely going to be doing it again next year. It started off with 59 teams, and after the qualifying round, we took the top 16 and seeded them. So just like the NCAA March Madness basketball is the same idea. So you seeded them, and then they were matched up against another community. So it was 5 rounds, and each round was 48 hours. So essentially, it lasted 5 weeks until the championship round. A total of 475 riders participated. And altogether, they rode over 10,000 miles just in 5 weeks, which was pretty impressive. So these pictures, I want to share some stories. The picture to the left here is Council Bluffs Senior Center in Iowa. They were the winning team in the end. They won the Golden Spoke Trophy, so you can see they're surrounding the wheel and they're holding up their CyberCycle T-shirts. Then to the right is UNMC Engage Wellness Program. They were our second place, and honestly, after the 48 hours, they extended their hours. They had staff coming in early and staying late just so they could compete against each other. I mean, they really competed down to the wire. And ironically, out of 59 teams, these two teams that made it to the final were only about 20 minutes apart from each other. But UNMC Wellness, they came in second, but they just prided themselves. They made their own trophy by giving themselves the Silver Spokes wheel, which I thought was pretty creative and pretty interesting. So both teams had parties at the end, with food and prizes. They just, any excuse to have a party. And then another story, this gentleman right here on the left-hand side holding the royal blue shirt, his name is Dennis, and I can almost guarantee you majority of those 475 riders recognize the name Dennis. He was the #1 rider in the challenge. He rode a total of 689 miles just in those 5 rounds, so essentially 10 full days of riding 689 miles. I had emails and phone calls during this challenge to see if he was a real person or if he was cheating. So I did a deep investigation, and he is a real person. He would come in at around 4 a.m. every day and ride for hours until the rest of his team showed up to take over. So he was pretty impressive. And then there's one challenge that I have here from Marianne from Engage Wellness that I thought was really powerful, that, it was challenging, but it was one of the most wonderful experiences of her life. I thought that was really great. So the benefits from this challenge is, for each community, they call for more riders to participate. There was social benefits with the parties. Marketing, actually, both teams had local newspapers write articles about their experience and even one live broadcast on the news during the challenge. So it really helped with marketing their program. And most importantly, the staff and the riders had fun and really can't wait for the next challenge. The second story, or the last story I'm going to talk about, is a custom challenge between 2 Covenant retirement communities. This was a 5-day challenge, so both of the wellness directors had scheduled this, and it started at 8 a.m. on Monday morning, and they actually started Skyping each other for the first ride. So if you see this middle picture, this gentleman's riding, and there's a little laptop in the corner here. I'm going to put the highlighter around it. That is the Covenant Village of Turlock on the other end, Skyping. So they're watching each other during the initial ride of the challenge. So it lasted 5 days. Teams made T-shirts. They had team captains, team coaches. They had strategies before the challenge even started. I mean, this was amazing. So they had a total of 74 riders between the 2 communities. They rode over 2,000 miles, and 14 of those riders rode more than 50 miles just in 5 days, which is really, really impressive. They too, I think they had multiple news stories on each community, so they got that marketing recognition. So again, this challenge, it helped increase participation in the Wellness Center, increase the number of riders, provided social benefits. They had parties that really brought the community together. Everyone wanted to be a part of the team, whether they were cheering them on or actually riding. It provides marketing, advertising in the local newspaper, and then as well as, providing exercise for the seniors and helping them stay healthy and providing a fun activity. So I want to end on this quote from Danny, the fitness director at Samarkand. She said, "The Samarkand's focus is to create opportunities for residents to live active, healthy lives and to have fun while doing it. And the CyberCycle was a perfect fit for the community." And that is what the CyberCycle is about, is providing a fun activity with a lot of benefits cognitively and physically. So I just want to thank everyone. Here is my contact information. If you have any questions or want more information, you can feel free to contact me.
Thank you, Allison. I really appreciate that overview, and I could hear that there's plenty of programming that goes along with the CyberCycle. I want to remind everybody in the lower left-hand corner of the screen is the chat box where you can put in your questions and comments for the presenter. Colin, do we have any questions in our minute or two we have before we move on?
We do. We actually have a few questions, so I'm sure that some of them will need to be responded to offline. But a couple key questions to start with for you, Megan, and that is this just for highly functioning individuals? And, you know, how does the bike compare to espresso?
Good question. It's not specifically just for highly functioning participants. You know, it's recommended, the whole benefit of this is to help, you know, for independent and assisted living levels, to prevent them from getting to the Alzheimer's and dementia memory care. But that's not to say that those that are in memory care cannot use the bike. It just might be harder for them to remember how to steer and shift gears. They might need some more one-on-one assistance, but they definitely will be capable of riding and participating with the CyberCycle. And then to answer the question about espresso, so the name of our company is Interactive Fitness, and we have two different products. So we have the Espresso line, which is, you know, for YMCAs, colleges, and then we have CyberCycle, which I can get into more detail with the person who asked this specific question on these specific differences, but the CyberCycle is completely geared towards seniors, ergonomically designed for seniors, and the programming is different than the Espresso programming because it's all for seniors.
Oh, excuse me, Colin, but alas, we've run out of time. So, Allison, thank you for those answers to those questions. I appreciate it, and although I hear there are more, Allison has agreed. I'm sorry, Megan. I'm on to our next speaker. Sorry. Megan has agreed to answer them all after the webinar, so you'll still get your questions answered. But I'm the official timekeeper, so I'm going to move on. Thanks again, Megan. That was a great presentation.
Thank you, Pat.
Now it is time to move on, and the next person we're going to hear from is Allison Abel from Greenfields Outdoor Fitness, and she's going to give us a great overview about going outdoors. Hi, Allison.
Hi, Pat. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Thank you to you all for joining in. Today we want to address one of the most important challenges facing the senior population, and that is how they can maintain an active, healthy lifestyle in spite of the limitations that they face. It's a given that physical activity is imperative for seniors. Unfortunately, some traditional gym settings can be intimidating for them. So at Greenfields Outdoor Fitness, we do our best to make sure that fitness is something that's inviting and enjoyable for people of all ages and abilities. And we've seen that outdoor fitness equipment is something that thousands of seniors benefit from all over the country because it's unintimidating, social, and pretty fun. I'm going to play a quick intro video right now so that you can see just what I'm talking about. I want to make sure everyone has their speakers on for this video, which is about 2.5 minutes long.
We come here at least 4 days a week, and one of the nicest aspects of this particular setup is that we've become kind of like a neighborhood community. A lot of us know each other's names, and we kind of worry when somebody doesn't come when we expect that they're going to be here. So it's really nice to be able to come here every day and feel like you're part of a bigger, broader community and getting acquainted. It's really nice.
Trabaja en distintas partes del cuerpo. Hay para el vientre, para las piernas, para los brazos. Es muy beneficioso para la salud y para las personas mayores. Yo soy un ejemplo de eso porque yo tengo 79 años. Entonces yo estoy haciendo esos ejercicios aquí. ¿Te das cuenta? Por eso estoy hablando como un ejemplo. ¿Te das cuenta? Que me siento bien. Y yo doy las gracias a quien tiene que ver con esto porque es algo excelente. ¿Te das cuenta? Estas máquinas son excelentes.
We did notice that many of the other senior centers did have exercising equipment, but it wasn't all that can be used for people who are in wheelchairs.
I think it's absolutely fabulous, and I'm so glad to have it here.
The last speaker on the video, Judy, was the driving force behind the gym that you're looking at. You might almost say this was Judy's gym. After seeing several outdoor fitness zones in neighboring communities, Judy went to her city with a request to create one for her community, and eventually the gorgeous fitness center you're seeing now became a reality. This 11-unit gym, by the way, there are a few slides on this presentation that won't be in the handout. The presentation had a couple last-minute updates, but for the most part, the handout will mirror the presentation. This 11-unit gym accommodates 28 users exercising simultaneously, and as you can see, it even includes 5 accessible stations for wheelchair users. Each of the 5 accessible units also incorporates a seat on the reverse side for an able-bodied user. Several other units focus on lower body strengthening and stretching, and a 2-person ski machine provides a cardio element. By using a diverse selection of activities to serve people at varying ability levels, the project planners ensured that the gym would enjoy really wide appeal. But it's not just the exercises themselves that makes outdoor fitness equipment so successful. There are several other elements as well. I'm going to highlight several unique benefits of outdoor fitness equipment to show why this is such a perfect amenity for seniors. There is a feeling of invigoration that we get simply by being in the outdoor environment. Nothing else can quite do the same thing. And when we combine that feeling with exercise, the health benefits, both physical and mental, are amplified. Multiple studies have confirmed the positive effects of being outdoors. Besides the examples given on the screen, a 2012 study done by the University of Essex documented the positive effects of exercising in a green environment. The results of a study published in a journal entitled Menopause confirmed that older women who exercise outdoors were more likely to stick with the exercise regimen. In addition, feedback we've collected from end users has confirmed that many who would not feel comfortable in a traditional gym setting really enjoy exercising in the outdoor gym environment. As you can see here, Greenfields units are designed to encourage social interaction, and the users don't even have to be at similar fitness levels to enjoy working out together. This particular unit allows for simple stretches that virtually anyone can do, but it also includes stations for leg raises and even dips for advanced users. Assuming we have enough space, we also try to cluster all the exercise units in one location as opposed to spreading them out along a path so as to keep that social aspect. We've seen that this practice encourages users to exercise for longer periods of time. Beyond socializing with each other, we want to encourage specifically multi-generational socialization. One of the greatest side benefits of outdoor fitness equipment is that it allows grandparents to engage with their children and grandchildren in physical activity. They're getting quality time with family, maintaining that healthy lifestyle, and helping instill good habits in the younger generations, which we know is important to them. Like many of the photos you're seeing today, this one was not taken using models, but simply shows family members we met exercising at a park. Now, Greenfields has developed several lines of equipment in order to bring fitness opportunities to the greatest number possible. First of all, I'd like to cover the core line. Greenfields' core line includes over 50 units, so there's something for nearly everyone. These units have proven to be extremely durable in a variety of climate zones, both in the U.S. and overseas. One of the greatest benefits the equipment holds for seniors is its ability to help them regain some of their lost agility. Various units, such as this 4-person twisting station, help enhance flexibility and range of motion. The unit in the foreground here is the 4-person pendulum abs and dip station, which is a perennial favorite. Seniors particularly enjoy this one. Another focus of the core line is, of course, strength building. The upper body units use a leverage system that harnesses the user's body weight to provide resistance. Because of this, the equipment can be used by those of varying ages and at a very wide range of fitness levels. Next, Signature Accessible. Greenfields Signature Accessible units have been a tremendous addition to the outdoor fitness experience. Now, all of our fitness zones are accessible in the sense that those who can transfer can move from a wheelchair to the seat of an upper body unit. Of course, we also take care to design our installations with adequate clearances and accessible surfacing. However, we wanted to take it a step further, and the result is the Signature Accessible line featuring equipment that eliminates the need to transfer. The 6 different exercises in this line help users in wheelchairs to both build strength in the muscles used to propel the wheelchairs and also work out the reverse muscles to help prevent injury. The equipment goes beyond just being accessible to provide a truly inclusive fitness experience. As you can see on the photo on the left, these unique apparatuses integrate seamlessly into the outdoor gym and allow those with disabilities to exercise not only in the same space, but actually on the very same units as those used by others. Finally, I want to mention that for those who can transfer, there are even more options, as you can see in the photo on the right. This particular unit belongs to the Professional Series line. The Professional Series line was created to emulate the indoor gym experience by offering adjustable resistance. The 15 units in this series focus primarily on strengthening exercises, but also include some stretching elements as well, and the very popular cardio stepper. Now, this grandmother is working out in a butterfly press, but you can see in this next photo how another user is able to challenge himself on the same unit after adjusting the resistance to his needs. Outdoor fitness equipment is a fairly simple feature to add to just about any outdoor space. This dormant space here was set aside last year as a site for a gym, and the result is the Creekside Park Fitness Zone with 12 units serving 24 simultaneous users. It's a bit quiet in this photo, but this is what it looks like at 8:30 on a weekday morning. These seniors aren't showing up for a scheduled class. They are just on their own time each morning, coming to the park to exercise in the outdoors with their friends. Greenfields offers pre-designed packages, for example, the Accessibility Plus package that you see here. But what we do more often is to individually assess the unique needs of each project, including the available space and the fitness level of the intended users, and come up with customized solutions. Before we go to the Q&A, I have one more video I'd like to show you. This one also about 2.5 minutes long, that highlights the potential of outdoor fitness equipment to make exercise something seniors genuinely enjoy.
I think the exercise machine I like the best is the one where you hold on and your hips sway side to side. I'm trying to work on my muffin top. And I know it doesn't look like it, but you should have seen me when I started. It's coming in now, so I can really tell the difference.
Here you're outdoors, you're getting your vitamin D from the sun, and it's just better. Being with a group, it has helped me to have a more positive attitude, because I see other seniors that are 80 years old. I'm only 63, and I feel, hey, if they can do it and use all of this equipment, I can too.
My friends invite me to go with them to like the fitness clubs and stuff, and I'm like, no. They think I'm over here exercising with all these old seniors, but it's remarkable. It's like a boot camp here, you know. It's like as soon as you're you know, you can barely catch your breath. You're relax, breathe, and then you're on to the next machine. I don't know. I just have to say, look at me, look at, you know, I'm a grandma, and I'm out here doing it.
What do we say? Sí se puede, sí se puede. Woo!
Have a lot more energy. I think I have more energy than my 41-year-old daughter. So, yeah. Ooh, I hope she doesn't see that.
And special thanks to the Trust for Public Land for the use of that lovely video. I'd like to thank all of you for your time and attention. If we can help you get started planning a fitness zone, please contact us. We'd be very happy to start a conversation. You'll see my contact info on the screen, and I'm happy to answer any questions that we have right now.
Thanks so much, Allison. I can hardly wait to get outside. We have time for perhaps one, maybe two questions before moving on. Colin, anything in the chat box?
There certainly is. And one of the questions is whether the equipment itself is weatherproof from things such as rain and snow.
Yes, it definitely is. We have our equipment installed across the United States and in Canada in environments that do get rain, do get snow, virtually every type of climate, and it has proved itself over the years. It is very durable and requires very little maintenance at all.
Well, wonderful. And another question, a quick question, is, you know, are there features on the equipment that actually track usage?
We do not have any features on the equipment at this time that do track the usage, but we have seen studies done that demonstrate that putting an amenity like this in a park actually does increase energy expended in that park.
Fantastic. And how are we doing for time, Pat?
We have one more minute before we move on.
Okay, so I will ask one very quick question for you.
Okay.
And that is, you know, how much space is needed for 11 units if someone was looking at that? And then there were other questions that came along with that question, but we just have time for that portion.
For 11 units, I believe we actually have a package including 10 units, and that package would take up a space 34 foot by 39 foot. So just an addition of a few feet on each of those sides, either of those sides would accommodate a package of 11 units. As I said though, during the presentation, we always take a look at the individual space. So if there's a space with a unique outline that we need to fit it into, we always customize the solutions that we provide in order to perfectly fit that space and provide a solution that's tailored to the individual's needs.
Fantastic. Thank you.
That's great, Allison. Thank you so much. And there have been a number of studies that show that being outdoors has a lot of value for feelings of health and well-being. So that's good. So that's another reason I want to get outside. And thank you to Allison for saying that you will answer any questions. It seems like we have a lot of them after the webinar presentation by email or by phone. Thank you for doing that.
All right, thank you.
Well, now, Well, now we're going to switch gears entirely and go into another world from HealthComms and the MyHomeReach program. And we have with us today Tom Byrne to tell us about this system. Welcome, Tom.
Okay, thank you. So at HealthComms, we develop systems supporting independent living. The system is cloud-based and supports the activities of carers, the organizations they may work for, and of course those living independently. The system itself is modeled on what we used to have as a village or town or community. And all the activities that we developed play on how that interaction would happen within that virtual village. It's available on all platforms from smart TV to smartphone and everything in between. If you want to go on, Colin, please. So there's many variations. It's very modular and very picture or icon based, and it focuses on the ability for those individuals as simply as possible to connect with that virtual community. You can carry on. So each time one of those tiles, we call them, is touched, we break that down into a family grouping or a carer grouping or some major grouping of important elements of support for the individual in the home. You touch that picture and we try to connect with the individual. If they're not online, then we send them a message either by email or SMS. And we can also then waterfall down through the contacts until we get a person that will answer. So you will always have somebody to talk to at the end of the line. The individual can also elect to send an email or talk to them directly on the phone or via Skype. But it's always audio-visual that we will opt for in first case. Can you just go on, Colin, please? There's a very powerful scheduling system in it as well. And what we're doing here is, so everything that is presented to the individual, and these are reminders, are actually spoken out as well. So you will hear things like, Tom, it's time for your evening medication. But what we do as well is if the individual does not respond to that reminder within a period of time, and it's a reminder that is deemed to be important, then we will raise an alert back at either the service organization or a family member who is interested as well. What we're actually doing with this here as well is we're integrating it with lighting systems to flash lights that will remind the individual or point the individual to the reminder as well. Carry on, please. Now, as an organization, you may have a community that's spread out across a wide area. And what you can use this notice board to do is essentially a message to either the whole population. Flu shots are available at such and such date and time. It can be a menu. It can be anything that's of interest to that community. But you can also then drill it down into a section of that community. It could be based on either a postal code or a disease type, and send a message to that subsection of the community. It can also go down to an individual, down to the individual level. Again, as the message comes in, the individual is prompted. You use new notice board items, and they can go and see the detail on that then as well. Carry on, please. The two screens here, you have the top left one essentially is a system whereby you have, say you have a housing complex of 200 homes, and you had a warden that would typically knock on doors to see if residents are up and about and just check in on them. So one organization that we work with asked us to essentially do that virtually. And what happens at 8 a.m. and at 1 p.m. and at 5 p.m., we wake up the system and ask the question, John, are you okay? And it's asked a couple of times. If John doesn't respond, it goes on. 1 o'clock comes about, it'll ask John again, are you okay? Now, if John doesn't or hasn't responded after the 3 reminders, then we raise an alert. So that can be modulated based on the organization's need, etc. What we also do in the background, of course, is we take that I'm okay, and anybody who is interested, it could be a family member or a carer, we send them an SMS message saying that, yeah, John has checked in and he's okay. The next screen, the bottom right hand, is like a superset of that. It gives a bit more definition on I'm okay or not quite okay. And again, we send that message to those interested in the response from that. That message can also be supplemented by some other text that is entered by the individuals as well. Of course, all that is trended over time. We record the responses, and we can show the level of response that an individual has given over a period of time. If you'd like to go on, please. Now, what we've done with that is essentially take that very static questions, are you okay, or the various levels, and give an organization the ability to present a much more complex interaction with the individual, and that can address everything from health, could be disease, chronic disease management, self-directed chronic disease management. It can be based on the environment that they're living in. So I have a broken window or a loose gate or a broken lock. And or from an organization's perspective, it can be a protocol that they want to formalize into an interaction or standardized interaction with the individuals living independently. That can address everything from mobility to hygiene to nutrition. The example you see here is medication compliance, and essentially an organization can translate what you're seeing here on the screen, this question and answer session, into, if you go on to the next slide, please. Through the screen, it's delivered real time, a series of questions. Now, each question, of course, it's all session based. So each question then can solicit background activity. Right? So the organization can put a relevance or an importance on each one of these questions that an individual responds to. And they can raise an alert or work request. So it's raise an alert based on, say, a prescription running out, or a work request based on that broken window or loose gate. And it can direct that then to the organization to be able to complete that task as part of their operational activities. Again, what you're doing, you're supporting that a safe, well environment for the individual. But we can also request a callback, audio-visual session, and also message back to the client in terms of hyperlinked messaging. It can also initiate secondary processes. One of the areas that we're using that initiates a secondary process is in robotics. And essentially you have the question and answer session. The questions are called out to the individual verbally, but then the robot will articulate in some form or fashion their arms or legs and give some animation to the situation as well. Of course, again, they're all session-based. It's all recorded in the background. We can give trending and look at who's using all those light bulbs or who's not doing too well from their disease management perspective. If you carry on, please. As an organization presents a carer to an individual, that individual goes into the home and they capture notes that are observations that they've seen as they come into the home. And one of the things that we've been asked for continually is how do I see what's going on with the carers that are visiting mum and dad. And so what we're doing is presenting a lot of what the carers are capturing in terms of notes and giving access to that to the family members as well. So whether they're across the world or down the street, they can see and monitor and manage and help that care of their loved one as well. The other thing we do with this is as a carer comes into the home, they have the opportunity to essentially start a clock ticking in terms of how long they're providing the service for. And that activity is geotagged, so we put the longitude and latitude on that record. But we also then give them the capability to do QR coding or barcoding to give them more definition in a high density area. Of course, what you can get out of that then is proof of service. You can also get billing time, and that can be reported at back office. But again, what you're seeing from a family perspective is that assurance that care is being given at the location that it's been said to be delivered. Could you go ahead, please? Now, so if you consider all that information that we're getting back from the client or the independent living person, then what you as an organization or an organization can do is feedback information to the client, either through instructional video, documentation, or additional services that are contracted and available to the service organization. And this is what we delivered that educational, those documentation and services to the individual through the application. The system allows for the individual to capture those services themselves that are more local, if you wish. And it could apply to everything from the hairdresser to the local taxi or to the local guy who cuts the lawn. And they can be captured in one place here. You can put your Facebook on this, your picture, your favorite picture management system, and it's all there ready for you to connect with as well. And again, we monitor the usage of this, and it can deliver interesting statistics on usage and engagement within a community as well. Okay, if you carry on, please. Now, if you consider a community of, say, 1,000 people, any one of those 1,000 people may need a hand to do something that they just cannot do by themselves. So what we have done here is given the ability to that individual to basically raise their hand and say, I need help doing this. And it could be anything from, I need a lift to the dentist on Friday to, I need the lawn cut or the hedge cut. And anyone else that is within the community can say, yeah, I'll do that. And there's a bit of a negotiation, accept, reject, between the two individuals. And the activity is, or the task is completed by the volunteer. And that volunteer then can get the time awarded to them for that delivery of that service as well. And again, we can report on that on an ongoing basis. If you can carry on, please. The system allows for biometric entry. So biometrics, what we're doing with this initially is to present an entry screen. So we don't dictate what type of device that you like to use, but we do ask if it's possible to enter those via the screen. We will be doing a very high-level integration to a company called Validic, which is a clearinghouse for very many devices. But essentially, we capture the blood pressure, the SpO2, glucose, and pulse. And again, of course, that can be reported on a dashboard and alerted through to the service organization as well. And next, please. And then the documentation is pretty much that. So as an organization or carers or individuals want to capture those important documents, it could be a care plan, it could be a contract, it could be a living will. We present to them a platform that allows them to very much capture those and secure those in one location and present them when they're needed. Next, please. And there you go. There's the contact details with some questions.
Oh, Tom, thank you very much. I have to say, several of the points you raised in describing the system are reflective of points made in the technology white paper that ICAA just released on technology for providers who are working with older adults. Thank you for that overview. Have any questions come through, Colin?
Yes, I have, Pat. One of the questions is what equipment is actually, or what equipment is needed in the participant's home for this to actually work?
Yeah, so I said from the outset, anything from a smartphone to a smart TV. So long as you have either 3 or 4G connection or broadband, that's probably the key thing. It's internet-based essentially. So if you have a TV or an old PC that you want to use the web, that's doable. If you have the high-end tablet, iPad, that's doable as well. So everything really.
Okay, wonderful. And then another question is, how many of these systems are installed in the U.S., and is it individual or must it be a group like a retirement community that actually purchases them?
Yeah, so we do both. So there is, and we will be delivering the system via Place for Mom in sometime soon. Probably the most frequent use case has been through either community care or retirement village, where you have that, if you like, community already developed. Our major market to date has been in Australia, and we have been working with a partner in New Hampshire, Charter Clouds, to deliver to a number of organizations in the Northeast.
Excellent. And do we have time for one or two more, Pat?
Just one more, please.
Okay. Can the care plan be customized to an individual's specific needs?
Absolutely, yes. So what we do, what we allow for is an organization to specifically assign a care plan or action plan, we call them, to anyone or group within that community.
Fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. I have found personally this showroom webinar to be highly informative and interesting. And I want to thank all of our presenters today. Unfortunately, we have run the clock out of time. And I do appreciate that everyone will answer any of your questions that came through the chat box that weren't responded during the webinar later, afterwards via email or a telephone call. And also the contact information from everybody who spoke today: Megan with CyberCycle, Allison with Greenfields Outdoor Fitness, and Tom with HealthCom's MyHomeReach is available on the handout that was attached to the reminder email that you received yesterday. So thank you, Megan, Allison, Tom, and Colin for being with us today.
Thanks, Pat. It was great.
And on behalf of the ICAA staff, all of us at ICAA, we want to thank you very much for all the work that you do every day. We hope that you join us next week. There's another webinar on developing creative wellness programs and refreshing ones you have. And then in a couple weeks, Active Aging Week is coming up, and on August 11th, I believe it is, we have a webinar with plenty of free resources for you to use during that event. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.